are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. As always, the community to me, you guys are so amazing. Um, so as some of you know, have some health issues. Nothing major, hopefully, but just kind of going through some things, and hopefully we get some test results back. I think we may have figured out the issue, but I still have to do some tests, and so still a ro- uh, little long road down. But anyway, the love and support when I read the chat's gonna make me cry because it's times when your health's not at the best. It's just kind of puts everything into perspective, and all of the drama and stuff. It's just so to me, it's just so petty. To and it's just the love and support. Anyway, let's get going. There's some huge things today. As a matter of fact, as we get further into the show, I will talk about how I may have to be. I've been holding on to some stuff that people have sent me, and now seeing what was released. I don't know if it was yesterday or the other day. Like I said, I've been out. I do apologize. But yeah, when we get there, about halfway into the show, we'll kind of talk about it. But um, I may do a Patreon and members live in a couple of days to explain more. But I have to send all that stuff to TBI and FBI. But uh, yeah, when we get there, I'll talk about it. First thing as always, if you're new to the channel, thank you guys so much. Welcome. I'm Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. We always like to give back by featuring a missing person at the beginning of the show. Of course, we're going to be talking about Sebastian, but that way, when people first watch the show, we can get a recent missing person out there. So today we have Phoebe McGee. I don't know if the middle name's Shiloh or if that's what she goes by, but they have Shiloh in the parentheses there. So it says she went missing on January 20th. So that puts that, almost 2 weeks out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Just 170 pounds, 5'6", brown hair, blue eyes. In the notes, it sounds like she may be a runaway, which typically runaways have a much better, positive outcome, usually in a few days or week, whatever, they find them. So hopefully this is what this is, but I'm just going to read the notes. It says Phoebe packed a bag and left to take her dog for a walk and has not returned home. Okay, so I missed that part. I missed the walking the dog. I wonder if the dog's missing. She wears glasses and wearing a black pants, 3 different sweaters with an oversized black hoodie on top. So when I read that, I thought, oh, well, she's kind of like packing up and running away. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not. She could still possibly be in Colorado Springs, possibly Pueblo, or anywhere at this point. So yeah, usually when they like name certain areas, it's like they know like that's like where she'll go run to. But I don't know. I do pray for the family and hopefully safe return. Oh, it talks about the dog. If you see Phoebe and her dog, so maybe she just took her dog with her, and ran away. Again, I don't know. But anyway, that's Phoebe missing out of Colorado Springs. So there's Phoebe, brown hair, blue eyes, and there's the dog there. And we have the tip line. Let me read that out. 719-444-7000, or you can call 1-844-MIA lost. All right. I hear the stuff going off like crazy. God bless you guys. I cannot tell you. Like I said, there's times where just things happen in your life, and it's just like it. I've always tried to be grateful for everything that I have. This YouTube channel. Especially when it started, was a weird timing. It was around kind of the anniversary of my mother's death, and that was when my channel took off. And it was almost like, just to me, like, that was kind of my mother, supporting me. But again, it's this community that pushes me and strives me. So before we get into the image, because there's a lot, and I've seen some people talk about it. Obviously, I'm not the first one to talk about these images, but I'm going to give you my perspective, and because I've seen some misinformation out there, especially on the other side, trying to claim that the lights are in a certain area. But I've got some major red flags with this, and we'll talk all about it. So, quickly, I'm just going to play a quick recap, the usual 1 minute, so I can just check chat for a minute because it's been go crazy, and just make sure my live is going well. But I promise this is, in my opinion, this is big. Um, and yeah, I think this could be really big. I don't want to blow it up too much because, again, I don't want to get people's hopes up, but there could be something here, especially with what I've been holding on to. Yeah. All right, let's get going. Oh, help to have the volume, right? Okay. Oh. Whoa. Where'd you guys go? Whoa. Where'd my chat go? Restore chat. My chat disappeared. What the hell? That is. What the hell? Alright, sorry guys. My chat just turned off. We're good. I just have to quickly set up the chat again so I can get your chats. That's weird. There we are. Choop. Boop. Okay, let's see. Well, now the screen's black though. Oh yeah, no, that's supposed to be black. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. Alright, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Alright, let me know if you can hear the video. This is weird. Let's see. Okay, yeah.
Heading to juvenile 2008 Traffic Court 1008 Traffic Court Commissioner. Call advice this morning was having a 15-year-old male talking to bed. We are right now 3 blonde hair working bed, but we're going to turn down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. You know, those have a kind of autism. It's the first time it happened. I was going to be in the home before midnight. All the doors are locked at this time.
Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic teenager who lives in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was last seen Sunday night on February 25th by his mother, Katie Proudfoot. The next morning, on the 26th, his mother went to wake Rogers up and get him ready for school, but Rogers was nowhere to be seen. Sebastian Rogers was allegedly wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, his glasses, and his keychain flashlight. They also claimed that all of his shoes were accounted for, which means he is most likely barefoot.
Okay.
The mysterious lights video, and more. What do we know about the lights video, and what has been released or leaked to the public? Here's a Nick Bears news clip.
Okay, 1 second. Let me get this all set up for you guys. We're gonna get right into the image because to me, this is huge in my opinion. And I have some theories, but I'm gonna have to hold on to a few of them because I don't want to tip off something that could be right. But I am gonna talk about it definitely in probably a day or two with the Patreon stuff, and then I will do it in like maybe Wednesday, a live show or something. But I want to make sure I get everything to TBI and FBI first. That way, just in case if it is something, we got it to the right people first. So cage on the inside. Hopefully I got that right. Caged on the inside. Oh, that's a cool name. Thank you so much for becoming a member. God bless you. Cynthia says feel better soon, Mob Man. We all love you. God bless you. I love you guys so much. MST4581, thank you so much being a member. Ginger's Girl, Mom, thank you so much for the support. God bless you. Panda Bear's Mom, thank you, Chris, for the amazing work you do. God bless you. Cynthia, we've got Josh the Posh, huge member and supporter of the channel. God bless you. Get some health juice, coffee, and ice cream. Actually, no coffee. That's I would love coffee, but that is actually, I'm on a diet right now. Yeah, stomach stuff. It's never fun. It's just part of getting a little older. Things happen, things start falling apart, but We've got better healthcare. Well, I don't know about healthcare per se as far as coverage, but as far as the how much it's advanced. So, but anyway, kindly thank you, Chris. Feel better soon. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. I'll try to, if I miss anybody, I will definitely try to get back to you. And of course, shout out to my wonderful, beautiful mods who always come in and support this channel and do such an amazing job. And if you have any
Looking for clues.
feel free, if there's something you really need to contact me, just let my mods know if I missed something that's important. So let's get into the photo. Let's just jump right into it, because to me, there's a lot, and I don't know if, again, I don't have a lot of time, especially I've been just kind of bedridden until I've these past few days. So I haven't really had a chance to watch other channels as much, and I don't really anyway, because I don't want to get influenced and copy somebody else's work. I know when you start covering the same case and you have 20 different channels or more covering the same case, of course people are going to be going over the same stuff and probably talking about the same things. So it's it's not going to be huge shock. All right, so let's get into it right here. Okay, so as you know, the PI, he put out this Twitter, and actually I want to get the date, unless somebody in the chat knows. Was this on Saturday or was this yesterday? Do you guys know? I'm going to pull up Twitter anyway, just so I can have it ready. So he posted this out. Now he kind of shamed Justin from the and this is I'm going to debunk this right away. I'm going to show you guys. There's so many things that people I think just don't think about. They want to just quickly, I don't know if they're on the other side, I think they just want to fit their narrative, or they're just, maybe they are trying to help, but they just, I don't know, they're not spending enough time, or maybe not have the experience with field of view. There's so much that they're clearly missing on this. So okay, so this is posted 2 days ago. So this is Saturday. Now he goes in and he kind of goes after Clutch and Pearls, which I think it's just terrible to be calling other channels out. I know I call him a clown because in my opinion, the way in this sentence. So let's just bring this up. And again, I'm not going to really focus on him as much, but he talks about, is it in here? Well, maybe I'll have to pull this one up. Where does he say it here? Yeah, let's pull on that. Where is that part? Okay, so we're going to talk about that part. Oh, yeah. Seth, Tony, Clutch and Pearls. Do I have that? No, what's one? So here, I'm just going to read this, and I hate this because this is such a hypocritical statement. Seth, Tony, all these people, Clutch and Pearls, rest of the gaggle of grifters, and that it's just so old calling YouTube people grifters, because when you're on YouTube, especially when you've made a channel, and you're at a certain subscriber rate, it's just all part of the process, right? I think it's one thing if you're just getting donations and people just want to send them in because they want to support you, and believe in you, and like I said, you guys make. I wish I could shout everybody out. I wish, but we'd be here all night. But anyway. It's just so hypocritical because he was on the channel of Cluminati, and I hate to mention other people's names, but just as a reference, if you watch her channel, she's going live at least once a day, if not a couple times a day, for hours. And you got PayPal running along the bottom, all that stuff, and she's getting donations, and I don't care, but then she hashtags Sebastian Rogers, and I click on the show and it's like, okay, am I going to get any information, learn something? No, all I see is just dissing on people, and it's just like, how is that helping Sebastian Rogers? I mean, again, I don't want to go after these people, but it's just so hypocritical because you're going to claim people are grifters, yet you're being on a channel that technically is doing the same thing that you're claiming, and then on top of that, you're getting paid by these guys. So It's just asinine. But let's move on from that because, again, that's not where I want to focus. The focus should be on Sebastian and getting this solved and all of us coming together, right? Like, screw all that nonsense. It's just so stupid. Anyway, so let's see what he says here because I'm like, so what's the, cause I'm like, why is he putting this out? What's his argument? Because when he did the cars, it kind of made sense because he was like, well, see, here's the Uber driver. I was gonna say DoorDash because I always do DoorDash when I do DoorDash, but yeah. So he puts out the Uber driver just to show hey, this is the cars. So I understand that, but then so here's what he says: we have footage from behind the house, and this footage is huge. Like to me, I would, in my opinion, if he has this footage, depending on how much he has, we don't know. Does he have like a 24-hour time frame? Is it from like midnight to 6 a.m.? Or is it just like 2 hours between 3 and 5? Who knows? We don't know how much he saved. I mean, I'm sure the the investigators probably grabbed as much as they could. But I digress. What's the motive of putting this image out? And so let's see what he says. We have footage from behind the house, just as we have footage from in front of the house, which, he showed that with the garbage truck coming across, along with over 100 hours. We've heard that from across the neighborhood. Like I said, if we could, and if I knew, I know the addresses, like about 80% of the addresses that have cameras. Again, I don't know where all of them are actually positioned, but when I say like every other house has one or more cameras, there's just no way they don't have evidence and they're not building a case. I think this case is going to be solved this year. I'm hoping it'll be a little bit sooner. It possibly could. Hopefully, maybe I could have maybe a 5% chance of a tip that could maybe break something. I don't want to build that up, but I'm just going to send it in just because, I want to do my due diligence. And there was something I'm holding on, and I wanted to be able to piece it together. And now I can, and I'll kind of go into it. I will further on as we go through the week, but I want to make sure I turn all that in first. It continues. Sebastian is not being carried anywhere by anyone. There's no people lurking or moving around in the backyard or common area. Now, this is where that statement it falls flat, right? And I know where he's talking a little bit about that photo that, for those that, and we will bring that photo up. I'm going to talk about that at the very end. But it's the photo where it supposedly shows, Katie and Chris. It's like the enhanced video behind the car or something. And they allege that, it shows them putting Sebastian in the car, which I'll give my opinions at the end on that. But then he says there are no people lurking or moving around in the backyard. Well, how do we know that when you just give us a still image, right? Like, if you just give just a picture, and then someone's going to be moving just like seconds later, well, we don't have the full It's just like, we don't have the full context. You're trying to tell us, but we don't have the full context. You clearly have something. But in my opinion, if I was SF and I truly thought the Proudfoots were innocent, why not release some of this? Like, especially this angle. Like, if I saw this from like at least the 3 to 4 or like 2:30 to 3:30, and I didn't see anything like moving or wandering around, I would kind of reevaluate some stuff. But right now, if you're not going to release anything, but yet you're claiming you have all this footage and like saying that, you don't see anything except for, referencing some other people. And anyway, so I digress. All right, let's get into it. Let's break this down, guys. You guys ready? Because I think, I'm just going to give my point of view. I know other people have broken this down. Have you noticed? Let's see. Have you noticed the reflection? Oh, let me pause this. I'm sorry, guys. Have you noticed the reflection of the trash truck in the tailgate if the car in the car video. I'm not sure. And boy, I wish I could pronounce your name, but it's upside down in reverse. I see crime and boy, yeah, conspiracies, crime and conspiracies. Boy, you make that hard. I gotta have a mirror when I have your name up there. Um, I'm not sure exactly which one you're talking about. I kind of understand the context, but I'm not sure which car video. Or unless you mean the Mysterious Lights video. I don't know. All right, but let's get into it, but I don't know. Maybe it could be a good question. I'm not sure. All right. If you can, try to be respectful in the chat. And I know. All right, let's just focus on this image, guys. And I appreciate everybody like trying to stick up for me and fight. But let's just try to come together. And yes. All right, so let's break this down. So he releases this, right? So we got timestamp at 3:06:51. That's eventually. Now, again, we don't know if this timestamp is real. I'm praying it is. I would lean more towards it is than it isn't, because I don't know why he would just go out of his way to blur this stuff out. Again, I when it comes to him, you never know, but I'm gonna say that there's a good possibility it's him. So now this is very interesting because it's 3:06. Now we have that car at 2:58 that we don't know, but I have an idea. Again, I don't know if I know what that car is, but I have so far the best lead that I can with that car to this date. Now, does that mean I have the right car? Absolutely not. But it does fit into everything that we're going to talk about. And again, I'll have to kind of maybe be careful with what I say until I can turn this in. So let's break this down. What are we looking at, right? For anybody that doesn't know. Oops. Should probably spread this out just a little bit more. So we are looking, for anybody that has not seen this, we are looking at the backyard of, so this is the Proudfoot's backyard, and this is their home right here, right? And you can see they said house blurred for privacy. So their home is kind of here. And then we see this light. It's very bright, right? Now, according to, I guess you could say the other side, they claim, oh, well, and this photo, which we're going to have to talk about this photo too, because, I thought, oh, well, maybe they got this photo off Zillow, but I didn't see that. If anybody knows where this photo came from and could explain, be very useful, because it's got some major red flags. But anyway, so they tried to point out that, okay, so this is the Proudfoot home right here, okay? And this house here, and it's really weird. It's when I first saw this, it really threw me out. Like, I thought this was the Proudfoot home, and like, I thought this was like some like kind of shed. It's such a weird, compared to the angle from the, camera at the, at 309, and this picture, taken from the backyard, I'm not sure when. But they try to claim that this so they're trying to say that this light, they try to put these like little arrows and try to say that the light is actually coming from this home, right? Which is actually across the street on the other side of Stafford, right? But that's not the case. They got some major mistakes wrong, and I'm going to explain it right here. So again, what we have is we have the Proudfoot home. We're looking at the backyard. Now remember, their backyards, and we're going to look at a top-down view here in a minute. And I will get to the donations and stuff. God bless you guys for the support. You guys are amazing. We're going to look at a top-down view. So if you're not familiar with the area, but the two main things we're going to, well, there's more than two, but there's two big ones. But this one, which I'm sure if you watch other channels, I'm pretty sure you have an idea of what this light is. But we're going to really break this down, because that description of where they're saying the lights are coming across the street is so wrong. So what we're looking at, so here's the Proudfoot home, okay? We've got the surveillance camera that's kind of sitting off like the porch, pointed this way, right? And it's actually going past, and we're actually even seeing this home back here, right? And we get part of the shed, and we get part of the back, part of the Sebastian home, which happens to be one of the bedrooms. And I'll explain why, when this person tried to put out this photo and try to debunk and say, oh no, it's across the street. Well, there's many different things that this person probably forgot or maybe is not experienced with. Again, one of the things I'm more experienced with is field of view, camera angles, and some people don't kind of realize how things can play a trick depending on where your camera angle is at. It's huge. So, and I'll explain everything. I promise you, it will break it all down. And then we're going to get into some other things. So here we go. We're going to come back to the beginning, right? Again, why is this guy even blurring this out? Like, this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. I understand if you're going to blur, if someone was standing out there, like, innocent, you didn't want to, like, maybe this guy came out to have a smoke, you blur that guy or something. But, like, why are you blurring this house? I mean, even if these pixels were gone, I don't think we're going to see much, right? Unless there's some lights, but yeah. Someone said headlights. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. We are definitely going to talk about that. I promise you. You're still here. As long as you're respectful, but we won't tolerate any like childish stuff. I can't do it. Like, I mean, we're all adults here, man. I understand other people have different opinions, but so let's break this down, right? Because all we have is to kind of reference this is a photo, but what we need to understand is the camera that we're looking at from 309 is actually from a different angle, right? But this is clearly whoever took this picture. I don't know when. If anybody has any context to it, I would love to know. The shot kind of looks like it's either an older shot, maybe a couple of years back, at the very least, I think it's kind of zoomed in a little bit because the quality is not the best. I don't know. I'm trying to kind of make sense of it. So anyway, let's look at the first thing that we could tell right away. Well, one, if we look at this photo, notice that the shed here, or garage, one of the two, I guess we'll call it a garage. Notice it's straight up in this, somebody went in the backyard, took a photo to kind of reference, right? Or found a photo to reference. But notice in the surveillance footage, look at the angle, it's to the left, right? And I'll explain why here in a bit. But so that right there is an issue. But the bigger issue is where one camera, so the person who took that shot, the daytime shot, right? What you got to understand is they're taking it from more up. So, we got this camera that's sitting back here more to the left. And we've got this person who took like a day shot photo, but they're more over to the right, which now is going to create a different view. Okay. Now this is huge because it's going to create a different field of view. And it's going to, so here, as our camera, we're kind of looking more to the, at an angle to the right, right? But as the photo that we can kind of try to match up to, they're more over, right? So if you had, say, if you're in a bedroom and you have a door, I've got my door back there. Now it's in the corner. I'm kind of in one corner. My door to my front room and living room, or my front room, my kitchen, is through that door. Now if I open up that door and where I'm sitting from here, I can barely kind of see my kitchen. But as I start moving more towards my door, that field of view and what's through that door is now going to start opening up, right? So as this person got closer, when they took the photo and they're more to the right, well, now this gap, so here I've got the two red bars, and notice the gap where this person's at, who stood during the daytime shot, that gap is more open, right? Because they're more to the right. And so now you've got more field of view, if that makes sense. But if you're back in the corner to the left at an angle, well, now that gap's going to close because now, obviously, because of field of view, you're kind of looking at a different direction. That's going to close that gap and create a different obviously field of view, which is very important in this case. So as you can see, again, look how big this bar is, and then look how small this bar is, because, obviously the surveillance camera is more back to the left at an angle. That makes sense? I'll get the chat here in just a second, guys. So now here's me overlaying it. I think I did this way too fast. But here's... So again, yeah, I backed it up too much, dang it. Should have split this out a little bit more. Okay, here we go. Pause it here. Okay, so here I'm going to overlay. So as you can see, I'm trying to overlay the photos, right? But we have two main issues, right? So I've already talked about the left and the right, right? So I've already talked about the horizontal field of view. But then we have another variable, right? And we'll talk about that here in a second. So as I do that, it does still, I mean, to me, it's still kind of over here, right? Where the bedroom window is. But remember, this isn't going to be the accurate overlay, because it's not, we're not looking at two, like a daytime at the same angle. So it's kind of hard to like properly overlay this, because we're looking at two different field of views. And the other difference is, when this person took the daytime photo, right, they're probably standing up, right? So they're standing up and taking a picture. Now the camera, the surveillance camera, is lower. So now with the surveillance, it's going to push whatever you're seeing or comparing to up. Whereas if you're comparing to the person who's standing up and comparing to the other one, is now going to push that down because you're standing up. So for instance, if I wanted to make a short person seem tall, I'm going to take a photo lower to the ground upward and make this guy look taller, right? It's going to look taller as I get closer. But then if I go then stand, and if I wanted to make a tall person look short, then I would take the camera, get on a ladder, and take like a kind of a top-down view. I'm getting a little too technical here, but you guys get the idea, right? So not only are we working with the left and right axis, but we've got the Y and X axis here, which is now creating different issues. But now let's kind of, if we could put those together the best we could, right, to kind of accurately portray this, because even when I try to line this up, the light is way up here, right? So I still try to line this up as best as I can, but the light actually is much more up here. But that's only because the surveillance, again, is lower, so it's pushing it up higher. Whereas the person who took the photo, the bedroom window, is now going to peer down lower. Does that make sense? So now we have, if we push this up into the right direction, that fits almost perfectly. Now, of course, I can't line it up perfect, because again, if you've got you've got two different variables going on, probably more than that, but you've got the left to right. And you could go forward and backwards. That even cause even more different fields of view. So you've got a lot of variables. But there's no question this is the bedroom. I'll probably do a short video kind of explaining a little bit more. So this is huge. Huge. I cannot emphasize how effing huge this is, because there's technically, I think, 4 bedrooms. They're all on the corner of each house. Sebastian's up by the front door. And then Katie and Chris's bedrooms in this corner. And then I think they had, Faith over here. And then I don't know whose bedroom this was. And maybe Faith was over here. Didn't they have 4 bedrooms, right? Or is it 3? 3 and then 1 up top? I'm not sure. I thought there was 4 on each corner. No, because there's a garage. That's right. So you have the garage and then the 3 bedrooms and then the one up top. That's what it is. Okay. I had to put it together there. Harley says, we totally get what you're saying. I hope, again, because, I think people are, especially on the other side, they just want to, try to debunk something and, and they rush and then they don't think about the variables. And again, the experience I've had is I've filmed for like 14 plus, more than that. I started filming when I was like 14 and I documented my whole teen to 20 years old because we skateboarded and I put music video or not music videos, but skateboarding videos with music and stuff. I digress. So, and then of course I learned by watching videos and some stuff, for people on techniques and, stuff that they'd use in, obviously films, but a very amateur level, of course, but I still understand quite a bit. So anyway, that is the bedroom. And we're going to talk about that. So look how bright this is, right? If that was across the street, it would not be this bright. This is absolutely bright, right? And you can see the home in the back here where it has the thing that goes there, but then we can see the roof of the home right here. But there's so much more to talk about. But what do you guys think? I know people have kind of already talked about this on other channels, but we're gonna put more into this too because there's other stuff. Miss Melissa, the mob crew is amazing. God bless you, and thank you so much for the 9-month membership. God bless you, sweetheart. Okay, I'm just gonna get to chat for a second, and then we're gonna switch gears here because there's much more. Josh the Posh gifting a mob crew membership. God bless you. Unjustice Project. Hey Chris, emailed you my translation drawing. Okay. I apologize. I've been out with my stomach issues. Just happens. Health. So I have been so behind. So I'm gonna try to catch up tonight and tomorrow. NJ's who's also gonna when she can if you want I can mod you up. I forgot. I got sick just after we talked, but love to have you. PK with the $10 super chat. God bless you. And thank you, NJs, as well, for your $10 euro. Kindly says, me too, ER did a preg test. Sure, chuckled, stomach bug. Yeah, it's a different, it's not like the stomach bug flu. It's little something else, but Chris, let me know if you need anything delivered. Oh, thank you so much, Flight Girl. All you guys are so amazing. Zoo Blues gifted a mob crew membership. God bless you, Zoo Blues. Adriana, God bless you for the support. Okay. I think I got everybody. Sorry. It hurts right now. Okay. So again, that's the bedroom. There's no doubt. That's the bedroom. It's on at 3:06 a.m. Why is that bedroom on? And we had a car at 2:58. And we know the mysterious lights, even though they want to tell you it's at 5 o'clock, and I don't know how many times. I'm going to do a short video and just put all the strongest points. And, the biggest one should just be Nick Barris because he's an actual reporter. It's one thing as us YouTubers, we don't have we're not reporting to a boss, and we don't have I still like to have a reputation. And that's why, I think a lot of you guys come here for, my opinions. Of course, I'm not an expert. I have some expertise in certain fields, and that's where I try to, shine in certain areas. It's one thing I was going to say, but I forgot. Dang it. You gotta love ADD. Did you guys know that they? Well, actually, I'll talk about it here in a minute because I want to break this up because this is going to get very interesting. But there's, like I said, this light's way too bright to be across the street. I can just tell you that. There's just no way. And again, like I said, this camera angle is sitting way to the left. That's going to close that gap. Whereas that other photo, again, as you get closer, that gap's going to open up. Just like if you're going to walk to if you're in your bedroom, you start walking to your door. As you get closer to that door, everything through what's, your kitchen, living room, whatever, it's going to start to, you get your field of view. But if you go stand in a corner, you can only see maybe, a portion of it. So now, what in the hell is this and this? Is what I'd like to know as well. And Picho, good to see you. I'm sorry I haven't seen your last one, but if we get time, I will definitely check it out. Yeah, Pincho's been doing some amazing work. I've seen a couple of videos. I don't know if I saw the latest one. I think people had messaged me, but of course I've been sadly sick. Okay, so now that we got the bedroom, and look at how big the square is, right? That it wouldn't make sense for. And just one last argument, and then we'll move on. Look how big this window is, right? Compared to across the street, it's like half, maybe a quarter. I don't know. It's kind of tough to sell, but at very least, it's half the size because obviously it's much further away, even though it doesn't appear that way. But again, just look how big that is. There's no way that's coming across the street. There's just no way. Okay. All right. Now these lights are absolutely an anomaly. And I've got some major issues with those. Not to mention the bedroom light on at 3:06, around the time in my opinion, the time frame that I have of him being possibly abducted is around 3 a.m. And we have mysterious lights going on. We have a mysterious vehicle going on. And now we have a bedroom light that's on. I mean, how much more? And then, like I said, I have something I've had sitting in my back pocket, and I will share that with you, hopefully this week. Because, I know people hate to say, oh, I got something, but I can't tell you. I know that frustrates people, but I will. I just can't right now. I have to but let's look at this, right? So it almost looks like car lights, doesn't it? It almost looks like there's a car kind of sitting like maybe in their driveway, because remember their driveway is kind of sitting right here, the Proudfoot's driveway, and then you have this light source, but what's weird is I don't know what the hell this thing is. It's almost like a tree that's been cut off, but the only trees that are out there, they're still there. So I'm 99% sure it's not a tree, but if anybody has an idea, like, because you can see the light, and I have an idea of what this light source is below, and I'll talk about this, but this is weird. Now, some could say, and I'm sure probably SF will be like, oh, well, it's the typical landscape lights, that show up from time to time, but I'm going to show you, I don't think those are landscape lights. Okay, so now we're looking at a different angle, right? We're on the other side now, right? So here's the Proudfoot's home. The camera is, situated here, and of course is looking at us, right? So whatever that light source is anywhere from here all the way down about here, right? And we're just talking about the two lights, not the stuff on the bottom. But I don't see where, why would you have landscape? I mean, I know people put landscape lights in their backyard, but you're just going to have two sitting out here somewhere. I don't know. Again, but let me tell you why this is really a huge issue, because that's when you go back and reference other things. Like, isn't the windows across the street rounded at the top? Oh, I don't know. Maybe they could be. Now, even if they were rounded, when you're at nighttime and you're way back, you know, you're gonna probably get different shapes. It may not be perfect circles. I don't know. I guess it depends on how perfect circle it is. You know, but because if you look at these lights, sometimes they look like they're squares, but they're actually, you know, just coming from a circle bulb, right? So, you know, it just kind of depends, you know, because maybe you have blinds, so maybe only certain part of the light's coming through. So, you know, there's always variables, but there's no way in hell that bright light's coming across the street. And again, like I said, it's if I had a little bit more time, again, it's just really hard to overlay that daytime shot because it's at a different angle. Okay. So let's look at this, and then I'll read a little bit more chat, right? But let's try to put our heads together here. Okay, so let's reference the other shot from the other street that we have from that same night. So we have 3 a.m. and we have 5 a.m., right? Now we can see the garage lights, right? And I'm going to show you something. Let me clear this, and then we'll read chat here for a minute. So I have one idea of what's going on. Let's see. Do I address that first or the other one? Let me see. So this is kind of where the camera's pointing. Obviously, it's more like right here, and it's like, imagine if I could like turn that arrow and it's like almost like pointing at us. That would be kind of a better representation. Okay, so this is the issue, right? These two lights. Well, there's no lights over here. Remember, this is from the same night, right? So, remember, this would be the edge of the home, kind of right here. So these lights, and again, you know, from it's perspective is, you know, there's always tricks, but this should be anywhere around in this area, and should be pretty dominant. I mean, compared to this light, it should stick out somewhere in here if these were, you know, landscape lights. So okay, so that's a great question, PK. It's a great question. No, but it wouldn't. No, because that's like flashlights. It wouldn't be like that. It should be okay. So that's a great observation, and I like that. I like that thinking, but it wouldn't, because that's like two balls of light. Like, think about, well, look, if you looked on the ground, if we had a better view, if we looked on the ground from these lights, we're just gonna have an area, right? We're gonna just have this big area of light. This is like focused light or a source of light, right? It's possible it could be a reflection. I like that. And I do have to entertain that at the very least. But let me show you what's a bigger issue. So one, we have the 3 o'clock and the 5:12. Now we have the garage lights, right? And we can kind of see it's kind of lighter right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Apologize if you're on your phone. You can see it here. And look at this. Don't focus on this, but look at this. Notice whatever this is blocks it. And I could almost see this being the, because remember the garage lights would be somewhere, obviously, because we're at such an angle that we can't see the lights, right? Because we're kind of like at an angle where they're blocked. But we have this light source down here, and it's possible it could be just the ground, right? That would make sense. I could definitely see that. But again, what the hell are these? And again, what in the hell is this thing anyway? I mean, it looks like a tree stump, and it's been cut off, but I can show you some daytime footage as well, but it's not. To me, it's spotlights on the house. Spotlights on the house. These right here. I don't know, because I mean, here's the house up here. I mean, those lights would have to be across the street. No, I mean, they're way too bright. I mean, they've got the same intensity as the bedroom window. I think they're much closer. I do think that's a great possibility. And again, anything is up to the table. This for sure is the bedroom light. And I think this light down here is flashing, and we're getting light. This could be the driveway right here. But again, this is like, is it a car? I don't think it's a car, but it looks like flashlights almost. Am I wrong? Looks like kids holding lights. Yeah, I don't know about the kids part, but I do agree with that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the headlamps. Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad we can't see over here, because then we would tell if there was a reflection, if it was beaming off. But I don't know. Like, again, these two lights should be, I mean, we should see them somewhere over here, right? Even if let's say if you guys' theory was correct, shouldn't we see that? Especially how bright this is? I don't know. This is a huge anomaly, in my opinion. Because I would think this would be in the yard somewhere. See, so you can see that light, and that would be probably the lights that are kind of shining down on the driveway. And this would be the driveway here. I know some of you are like, what in the hell are we looking at? And then the garage lights would be out of the camera view, but it would still be lighting up down here. And I do like the reflection. It's certainly possible. I would think it would be consistent. I don't think we would have these balls of light, though. Very strange. And again, it's like there's something like sitting here, kind of blocking the light, but again, it's actually would be more over like right here. So strange. It's not the tree like cut down, because the tree's still up. I've seen. Well, I'll show you some footage here. But as you can see, so if there was any landscape lights over across the street, they would be much higher, because this is kind of where the lights are at. I would say more like kind of, because I think this person's forgetting that the camera is more to the left, so the lights are actually probably more over here. But yeah, they're definitely not up high. I mean, if we compare to where the top part of that thing is, they're kind of down below. So they've got about the same right about level, but I think they would be a little bit more over here. Light reflection on a car. It's possible. Certainly possible. But that's huge. Again, just think about, why is their bedroom light on? And I don't want to make a big deal. I thought I have to do some more research. It almost looked like it kind of make a person out, but I could be wrong. It could be just pareidolia. But again, I mean, their lights are on. Her bedroom light is on at 3:06. A car comes up the road at 2:58. By the time it comes back around, it'd be like 3 a.m., depending on, how fast or slow it's going. And then it maybe parks by a certain house, which maybe we'll talk a little bit about today, but I'll have to kind of explain a little bit more later on. But I do have a theory, and I'll have to kind of share it later. But so yeah, let's just think about that for a second, and if I can read chat here for a minute. So trying to think here. I remember my list. Like, look at this. This is my list, right? of all the weird things that are going on at 3 a.m. and around this area. Now, now we add on at 3:06, we have a bedroom light on. We have them doing a 3D scan right here. The lights are moving somewhere around in this area around 3 a.m. We have a car that clearly turns up on Stafford and then turns their lights off and then kicks their lights back on somewhere around 3 a.m. This is not a coincidence. There's way too many, right? At some point, you got to be like, okay, you know what? This is too much. One or two coincidences, maybe you could kind of blow off, or just kind of say, okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it. But look at all this stuff that is all focused back here. We've got 3 o'clock stuff going on. Car, our bedroom light, lights, car lights, bedroom light, all 3 a.m.s. This is not a coincidence. This is all, like I said, I got a little bit more, and I have to kind of be careful. So let me just give you a little hints. Let me just give you some Easter eggs for a minute, for those that are familiar with Easter eggs. So that was very interesting. So if you're wondering which house this came from, oh, hey, what's going on here? Oh, well, that's weird. Why would they do that? Now, let me tell you, that's happened within the last 2 to 3, maybe 2 months. I swear I was looking at that house probably 2 months ago. I know I have live shows. So I don't know why they wanted to. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that they did it or are responsible, but just make note of that, because this is where, in their backyard, that's the shed there that's kind of lifted up on the so that's this garage right here, as you can see. Oh, let me move this. Sorry, 1 second. So as you can see, that's the same garage, right here, right? And isn't that odd that this guy, now again, that doesn't mean this guy is guilty of anything, but why, again, why are they blocking this? And this was pretty more recently. And again, my theory and what I've heard is that 258 car, let's get back over to it here. So that car comes up, 258, turns around, and it stops. And the timing of when it stopped before it turned on to Stafford, from, again, sources that I've heard that have said this a long time ago, before we even knew about a certain possible connection to somebody, and heard that car stopped somewhere around here to possibly let someone out. And then that car would then, of course, turn up here. Now we're at around like 301, 302 maybe. Now we're doing the exchange. Again, think about it. SF has never talked about the car, which, again, everybody mentions the lights, and he's done these tests and everything with the AI tests and everything. But as far as I've seen, I don't know, you could correct me in chat, but I've never seen him talk about the car. I think that'd be pretty big, especially when you're trying to tell people that, garbage truck is just coming around the corner just after the video ends. But again, we know that isn't at 5 a.m. It's such a ridiculous thing. They keep wanting to go back and show an interview by Seth that was taken a long time ago because he was told, yeah, that's, pointed, that's garbage trucks or it's pointed a different way. They didn't want people knowing this, right? Nick Barris, I really think they thought they had they were building something. I think there were things were coming together in the beginning of this case. First they were searching, they came across something on day 1 or early day 2, and that's what enhanced it to Amber Alert. Clearly, there's something they found between day 1 and day 2, caused them to raise that up to an Amber Alert. And then I think there were more the two scenarios I think they were kind of leaning towards is a possible runaway because they see this flashlights, and of course mysteriously he left with the flashlight. But then there's this mysterious car that they can't identify, and I think obviously the timing of it that you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. And then here we are. As you notice, this is the house where the camera is pointed. Here's the van. And here we are with the 3D scanner, which, again, I've never seen in a missing persons case used. Usually you see it in crime scenes or vehicle reconstruction or recreation. Excuse me. So again, it's just building up, and then, I wish I could tell you guys now, but again, I don't want to blow a possible lead that could possibly, turn out to be something. Again, I don't know if it will, but it's very interesting. So and then we'll talk about the other image a little bit. I don't want to get too much into it. But I will speak on it a little bit. So let me read chat for a minute. Trying to actually, you know what? Can I just slow this down? Oh, I used to know the quick way. I don't know why this one's such a different speed. Slower. Okay, let me get to chat. Of course, Pincho's been doing an amazing job as 3D. I can't wait to see his great newest work. I know a certain channel always tries to debunk him, and she's trying to say, well, the lights don't match up because if you have them right here, then the lights are over here and they don't line up. But, maybe Pincho is, I think he's still 80% right. I think it doesn't even matter where these lights are at. This just shows you where the camera is pointing. There's no question, right? Just forget where the lights are. And again, all you'd have to do is just push them over a little bit, and then all of them line up. Again, this isn't a 1-to-1 recreation. It's damn near close because he's got the floor plan of Google Earth as he's using this to build his model. But again, so let me play this. Let me read chat for a minute, and then 2 big things we'll talk about. This case is going to get solved soon. There's something I really want to say, but I really want to hold my tongue for a minute, just because I have a 2% chance hoping that there's something that somebody's doing that may be trying to help us, and we'll maybe talk about that down the road, because I don't know why you'd put this out, to be quite honest. It's blatant obvious. Where's this coming from? All right, let me read chat. Okay. And then we got 2 more things to go over here. Oh my God, Chris, please play One Day. Show us young Chris skateboard video. Oh, I do. I have it in my members. Yeah, maybe if you guys want, I'll play a little something at the end. How about that? All right. Thank you, Julie. God bless you. Deanna says, Chris, you are smart and easy on the eyes. Oh, God bless you guys. That means the world to me. Mandy Moo, thank you so much for becoming a member. God bless you. Kathy says the light source from the window is so bright. Is it a reflection from there? Oh, I see what you're saying. It's possible, but it's just so weird that they split. So, but that's not a bad idea or a bad theory. Actually, I, I, I sorry, I'm trying to. I'm still gonna get to chat. Oh, I thought I spaced this. Every time when I think I've spaced stuff out so I can have some time to kind of chat, I put it going too fast. So you're saying, oh shit. You're saying because this is so bright, it's reflecting onto whatever the hell this is. It's certainly possible. The only thing is, you would think it would be more. I don't know if that would. I don't know because that light isn't really. Because the light is in the room, it's not outside. I don't think so, but that's not a bad idea. I'm not gonna discount that. But the way their balls are weird. Like their flashlights or something. That's where I'm kind of getting the vibe. But that's not a bad, yeah. Infrared reflection, yeah. I like the reflection. Certainly, definitely possible. Castle says, Chris, you can't believe the pic from SF. It's not credible. I do have my suspicions, yes. But I do have some other things, but I can't say it in this show, but I will talk about it maybe Wednesday. But I wanna send stuff in because I think there may be something else going on. And I've been kind of talking about it with somebody else, and yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let me get to a couple more chats, and then we're gonna get to the other two other things. So, okay, check your email. Okay, I get a lot of emails, and I haven't because I've been sick. I'm sorry, guys. I've been out for like days, like bedridden, um, and so I am super behind on emails, and I get so many. So I just asked if anybody does email, if it's like super important, if it's just a little, if you don't think it's as important, maybe if you could hold off for a bit, unless you think it's very important. Just because I've got so many, and it's just me, right? I don't have a secretary or anything. Did she have a boyfriend over that night? I hate to get down that road, but we may be crossing that. I hate to bring any other people in because I've seen how that work, how people will start kind of trying to connect other people that are innocent, and so you got to be very careful, right? At least on my channel, I try to do this with the most integrity that I can, and I'm not saying that other people don't do it with integrity. I'm just saying I have my way that I like to do it. Crime and Conspiracy says mine is important. Please check it. Okay. Again, I probably have 100 emails that I haven't looked at that have came in the past probably 4 days. Again, and it's like I can't get to all of them. So I will try to look out and do what I can. Alan says it could be the camera. It might be very sensitive. Can you play with the darkness? I have. You will actually see this here in a second. I'm still working on that, but I don't know from the camera. I don't know. Let me check my chat for a sec. My phone, just make sure we're good. And then we're going to get to two more things here. I promise. Okay, yeah, so it's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath house with a bonus room above the garage. Gotcha. Okay. But that is her bedroom. Again, there's, like I said, that's not across the street. That's way too bright, way too big. And again, this is cut off. I guarantee it probably goes down like to about here. But yeah, I can't. This is an anomaly. In my opinion, that's an anomaly. Really a huge anomaly. And I would really expect it to be somewhere over here, right? Because if it was the camera, like now again, this camera on this right side's across the street from Proudfoot's, looking at the Proudfoots, and yes, we are very far back, so the light is gonna obviously start to dim as we are further back. But I would think with how strong this is, we would pick this up somewhere. Again, but I do like the reflection. It could be something basic, but and then again, I think this could be the garage lights that are shining on the cement, and that's what this is. But then it also makes me wonder, is these lights the reflection of this? I'm not 100% on that one, but there's still the possibility of that as well. But that's huge. I mean, what are the odds her bedroom light is on at 3:06 a.m.? Unless he put a fake timestamp, but I've got a person that's pretty good with timestamps, and they're kind of looking into it. We're gonna look at all the timestamps from all the ones he's released. I know most of them in these released are real, especially when he releases videos, and then he has like still shots from especially with the car. That way, I could tell 100% because when the counter's going and everything, yeah. So, yeah, I am gonna work on this more because, like I said, I've been out. Leslie and busy. Billy, I'm sorry. Good to see you, sweetie. God bless you for the support. Hope you're staying warm. It's actually a pretty warm day today. Chris, garbage cans with night wheels. Night wheels lights hit. Garbage cans with night wheels. Oh, so you're saying that's yeah, that could be a garbage can. Yeah, I mean that is kind of like the about the right size, but is it kind of like one of those like because remember it's garbage night, so their garbages are all out on the street right now, but could this be because like if some people that whoever homeowners you have like usually have like recycling. I guess it depends on where you live, but sometimes you have two garbage cans, one for your regular garbage, and then you have other ones for recycle, and sometimes they don't come on the same day, and then I think others have like a mulch. So sometimes they have like three. They have like the garbage, recycle, and then like the mulch, I think, or something. If they're like a green area. Anyway, so yeah, I like the garbage can, Leslie. Great point. Yeah, somebody said this chat just jumped, but I saw somebody say maybe a person. Yeah, it did kind of look like there's somebody like kind of like standing right here. Again, pareidolia is very bad, and we're going to talk about the final photo here in a minute. Brinks van reflection of the window. I'll have to look at that more. I like that. That's interesting. I like that. The reflections are good. You guys got coming up some great ideas, and I will look into them. That's not bad. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because it definitely has the qualities of like some kind of light source, but I do agree it could be a reflection. And yeah, it could be a reflection on the garbage can. Kind of a weird spot, but again, this is the thing. We don't know like how far out. It looks like it's like in this yard, but it's so weird. Janae? Janine. I think it's Janine. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Thank you so much for the $1.99. God bless you. Okay, yeah, if you guys can hit that like button. We've got two more things to go over. We got one big thing. It's not related to Sebastian, but I don't know if you guys heard the news. We're gonna drop the bombshell at the end because so much has been going on, and I think this has kind of gone under the radar. Um, and again, just by chance, I don't ask it because you guys have been donating. But if by chance, like if you donate PayPal or Venmo, it does help the channel. I don't like beg for it or anything, but if you do, if you could let one of my mods know so I could shout you out because sometimes I'll get them real time when I'm doing the show, but sometimes I don't. Okay, last two things. I gotta take a sip here, guys. But this is huge. I know some other people already talked about this, but hopefully with what I've showed you, because I don't think the other people are really understanding different points of views, right? And then of course you've got so many variables. You got your horizontal variables, and then you got your vertical variables when you're comparing two photos together. Um, oh, we got 1,000 likes. God bless you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are studs. So again, I just want to remind you, this is in the first 2-3 days. There they are without the 3D laser scan. Again, that is something that they use usually with crime scenes. And they're shown carrying that thing around because they'll capture, a certain area and it fully recreates it because it's taken thousands of pictures, literally recreating to where you can almost go in with VR glasses, and it's like you were there because it preserves everything. It's just amazing. We've talked about it, but I just find it fascinating and a huge red flag that they would have this because again, why? You would only use something like this if this was kind of like some kind of foul play abduction, right? And think about this. When SF says he has over 100 hours worth of footage, and he's starting to show all the different angles and views that he has. We've got one facing the front of the home, one facing the back of the home. We have one that's facing basically, because it's one way in, one way out. Now, of course, if you're walking around, of course, you don't have to go out the main exit on the street. But there's cameras everywhere. This kid would have been seen. So there's the backyard. There's kind of what looks like a frustrated dog handler, and I don't blame her. I think, to me, she's got like that suspicious look, like something's not right. Of course, that's my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but that's the feeling, the vibe I get when I watch her standing there. Like, I think she's like, because I think they're expecting to get dog scent, and they, allegedly weren't getting, they were getting false positives or whatever. Okay. Craddock going in. Let's see. And so there they are, kind of going in the backyard. Notice they're all focused around. Notice they're all focused in this area where the lights are allegedly moving around. It's not a coincidence. And they were literally going right where that 3D scanner and where the bedroom light would have been on. I mean, something happened back there. That's kind of where it started and finished, I think, Chris, it's an Amber Alert. Now, are you talking about this case, right? Unless you're talking about the person that featured at the beginning. But yeah, I know this is an Amber Alert, which obviously that's another, you know, Amber Alerts typically mean they mean abduction. So it's pretty clear cut, in my opinion. Now, I'm just going to talk about this a little bit, right? Now, personally, this was sent to me like 2 weeks ago, somewhere around in there, maybe a week to 2 weeks ago. I get a lot of this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I get so many photos, and I know people are just trying to enhance the video and trying to see if they can see people or whatever or clues. And like I said, I love that people are trying to work on this. But that's why I did my last live talking about how you have to be so careful because we're not looking at the original footage. We're looking at somebody that recorded off their screen. So we have light pollution. And so now that's going to add pixels that you're trying to brighten up. I know you can kind of work around with some of this stuff, but when it's not the original footage, and I wish I had time to show you guys how they do the license plate. Do you guys remember that license plate video that I did? How like it was like all blurry? But then they use this algorithm. It's not even AI, it's just an algorithm. And because it's the original video, and because in the metadata, the numbers are there, it's just because it's blurry, it's scrambled. And all they do is because they know like the pixels are there in a certain order, and using some algorithms to kind of, with numbers. And this is for license plate readers, of course, but I know they're going to expand. Probably already have. But it's almost like they shake the pixels, right? And it starts to kind of like put it together. It's weird. Like I'd have to see the video, show you guys the video. So some of you guys know the video I'm talking about. Anyway, back to this, right? So I've had this sent to me a while ago. I didn't really do anything with it. This is the first time I've talked about it. So this is just my opinions on it, right? Yeah, it looks like you could kind of make out some heads and some figures. The only issue I have is going as far as to say, like Chris, Katie, Sebastian, when you really can't like really make these guys out, right? I mean, it looks like Minecraft right now. So I don't know. And what I would love to see is someone, especially whoever made this, if they could like play a clip and how they did it so I could see like to know. But if this just gets released, I don't even know like if this is like 100% legit. Not to say it isn't. I probably do think it is from the video. But again, I'm just giving my opinion on it because I don't want people to get excited. I would say people should be more excited for this. I'm telling you, this is huge, in my opinion. I think up to this date, between the 258 car and this light being on at, look at this, 3:06:51 a.m. And if you think about the timing of the car going up the street, then kind of turning around, and then they start doing their thing, I think this was probably finished around 3:06, and they're just probably getting back, and she had her bedroom light on. And they're doing their stuff, whatever. But I think whatever happened probably happened within 5 to 10 minutes, tops. And yeah. But again, if you think they're innocent, why not release this footage in pieces, whatever. And if there's no movement between, midnight and 6, especially between like 2:30 and 3:30, then I would kind of reevaluate my opinions and where I would want to look at next. But when you do this stuff, this just makes me more like, well, what are you trying to hide? If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's no coincidence, guys. And that's her bedroom light. That's a bedroom light. I'm gonna work some more on it. Like I said, I had a doctor's. I was bedridden for 3 days. I went to the doctor today. Um, had to go get some blood work done, but and I got some antibiotics. So hopefully that kind of kick in and make me feel better. Oh, there's one more thing I was gonna say. Dang it. But so the person again, just one more time. Let me just remind you, because I promise you, maybe Wednesday, Friday at the latest, we'll kind of put more of this together. But I don't think this is a coincidence. And then here's the other thing is so. Let me. Let's see. Where did I get that photo? There it is. Is that one? Yeah. Again, this person. So I went to Zillow because I'm like, well, did they just get this from Zillow? But I went through Zillow and I couldn't see this. So, like, whoever this is in the backyard, right? They're standing in the backyard. So this is like a homeowner, friend of a homeowner. And was this sent to them recently to try to, like, change a narrative? Or is this an older photo? If anybody knows like where this photo came from, it would be nice to know the context. But this raises major red flags. Just the person, unless there's a rational explanation, this is a red flag. And again, I'll kind of explain more throughout the week because there's something I've got to send in first. But that is weird. Do we know when the light came out? Now, I'm not sure what you mean, Sandy. Like, when the light came out, like the sunlight, or I don't know if you could clarify that. Maybe I could ask it. So, Julie, that is that is something we're going to talk about because I think something else could be going on. Right? I'm really hindsight's clip. So everybody's saying hindsight's clip. Should I see hindsight's clip? And then there's huge news. That's not related to Sebastian, but it's like one of the biggest mysteries ever that just got solved over the weekend. I don't know if you guys know. That involves true crime. One of the most notorious serial killers that's never been caught. So I don't know if you guys know. So, okay, you email me. All right, let's look at this, and then we're going to talk about something that is huge in our history that just happened over the weekend. Huge. Why do I always have to sign in my email now? It's so stupid. Okay. Do I have his permission to play this? Oh, yeah, Jack the Ripper. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's a short. Okay. Oh, boy, that's so small. Is there volume on this? I don't hear anything. Yep, agree with that. Yep, agree with that. Okay. Yep, a stupid thing there. Was there a light inside the home of the residence? Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean they're right. And I know somebody that, like I said, so I clearly don't claim to be the first person to figure that out, but I just can't tell you how big that is because and then again, I just wanted to give you guys just to kind of reinforce because I know that I've seen, the other side try to debunk it, especially using that photo. And so that's why I wanted to kind of give my experience on how people aren't thinking about positioning and field of view, right? And if you're standing up taller or if the camera's lower, you're playing with so many variables. So yeah, yep, 100% right. I'm still curious about the lights down at the bottom. And I'm gonna do some more research because I find that weird. Like, how come we don't see that here? If it was from the garage lights, which are on all night, the bedroom light, man, like, I find that hard. Not to say it's not I don't know. Because if they had blinds up, you're just seeing the light on through the blinds. I don't know how much that's gonna like be a source after through the blinds in the window. Again, I'm not claiming an expert in this, but I find that hard. Like, that's such a weird angle too. But again, everything's like such a weird perspective. So, but again, bottom line, 306. You got a car at 258. No coincidence. Possible headlights. I that was kind of my first thought. The more I looked at it, I'm like, that seems kind of weird. I think that would have been. I think that would. Yeah, I don't think anybody would have risked going down Stafford all the way to the home because they knew that there was. It's like they knew where the cameras were. It's so weird. Anyway, what is the black thing on the patio? Oops. I don't know if you're talking about this patio. I don't know. I'll have to research this more. As you guys know, I'm just kind of coming back from my thing here. Of course, I'm going to deep dive this more, but again, this is huge, and it's the lights being on. There's no question her lights are on. Well, at a time that we've kind of suspected things went down, I just. And then if you were the other side and let's just say they were innocent, right? There was like some weird other explanation. Wouldn't you just release the footage and be like, see, told you so. Let me shove this in your face. Let me tag everybody, that are Team Sebastian and show you these footage and, show you that there's nothing going on. But he doesn't do that. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. All right. So for those that don't know, well, you guys kind of put it in the chat. They believe they have identified Jack the Ripper, which I think is amazing. And this is, I know we've kind of heard, I've seen a lot of documentaries in the last 5 to 10 years, kind of like, ooh, we think we found the person, and but they always had a couple of suspects on their list, and one of them was this Aaron guy. But how crazy is this? This is something that, how long ago this happened? 18, 19? Like 1800s or 1900s? I think 1900s. Jack the Ripper, DNA, killer identified by DNA. Aaron, I can't spell his last name. So, and there's some very interesting stuff if you haven't heard. And I'll just go over just a quick bit because I know this is more about Sebastian, but we're kind of at the end of the show. But so the fourth victim, so Aaron Kosminski, I think is how it's pronounced. He's a Polish immigrant and a barber who lived in London. Now, I guess being a barber, which is very interesting, back in the day to be a barber, and I think it was something else too. I think it was a barber and something else, but I believe it's the barber part. I could be wrong. Correct me in chat. But I think you had to kind of know part of the physical anatomy of people's body, which seems weird. And so anyway, the fourth victim had a shawl, which to me it looks like a towel. I don't know if it's a dress or I don't know. It's a shawl. But there was blood stain on the shawl and DNA on it. Now, what's interesting, now obviously they didn't have that stuff back in the 1800s. And Kaminsky ended up going to an insane asylum. And so after all these murders and they're trying to look for the killer, I think he got sent into, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat. He got sent to a insane asylum and I think eventually passed away. But they said that he was a schizophrenic. Of course, they didn't have that term back then, but they think that's probably what he was suffering from. Yeah, worked as a hairdresser or orderly in a hospital. So he died of gangrene in 1919. But on this shawl that I think ended up like on eBay or something. But anyway, what's amazing is from that shawl, from that fourth victim, from the killer's, the Aaron guy, his great, 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 great granddaughter, along with the victim's great, 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 great granddaughter, came together with DNA and everything. And they were able to match it. And now they announced it, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. Saturday, I think it was. And he was kind of one of the, if you followed Jack the Ripper, you probably heard of Aaron. That was one of they believed he was kind of one of the main suspects. So it's not too much of a shock. I forget the other two. I think they had like two others they were kind of thought. But the Jack the Ripper was, or Aaron, I know, was kind of one of the big persons of interest. But how amazing. This guy buys this shawl off eBay and then they go to get it tested and it still has all that stuff preserved on it. Decades, centuries. That is so amazing. Rosemary says, yes. Yeah, that's so crazy. But yeah, so now they are contacting their government or whatever, attorney generals or whatever in that, that whatever they call them out there. And yeah, so do we have a picture of him? Real quick. Just reading his hairdresser, self-abuse. There was even there was even one scenario that they thought it was a combination. It was like a bunch of different people and they were just kind of blaming it on one and saying it was a serial killer, but it was actually like multiple. So they have a picture of him. Where's the one? Oh, here's the one right here. So that obviously, I'm sure that's kind of like a recreation kind of. And then there's the shawl that was found on the fourth victim. But isn't that wild that two family members separated by centuries come together and they're able to get mitochondrial DNA and link it to Aaron because they could do the family bloodline DNA thing. That is cool. That is so cool. So just if they can do that, just think about that. If they can do that, think about like they didn't have the same kind of practice of crime scene evidence. Now I know a serial killer is probably there's more clues that are left behind, but again, still they didn't have the same kind of stuff that we did now, where we shut down a crime scene and they way different back then. So if they can crack Jack the Ripper, they didn't have Big Brother, cell phones, the advancement in DNA. This case is going to get solved. This case, Sebastian is going to get his justice. I pray to God he's alive somewhere, but it's going to happen. There's no way. There's just no way. I've heard rumors that they've been building a case, and of course that stuff takes time. There's always like some kind of, that one piece that they just kind of need to kind of be able to build that search warrant or probable cause for, whatever. But it's going to happen, guys. Have faith. Right. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they didn't know. Yeah, exactly. Which is very sad because, they just did the most. They just made it 10 times worse with, that electrical therapy, lobotomizing. Oh, God. Terrible. Terrible. Yes. Yeah, the Zodiac. That's the next one, the Zodiac. I do think it was that guy. After seeing that documentary by the family, Lee Arthur Lee, yeah, I think he's the best one. All the victims were found, like a lot of them in the early ones were found like by bodies of water, and there was previous deaths that they never really fully attached to the Zodiac, like but they're all the places that he went to. And he used, for those that didn't know, he was like an avid diver or swimmer. So, and then he would have this black suit that was like a wetsuit. And one time he took the girls out, and I guess he had built part of that, because, when he killed the two well, he attempted to kill the two college kids, oh God, I forget their names. The boy survived. Sadly, the girl, but in the video, it's where he's got the mask for the first time. And they believe that's all that fabric because he had that fabric, that black fabric that he would use to build his wetsuits. And they think that he just used that to build, his little Zodiac, mask thing, whatever. And yeah, I think he was clearly smart. And then in school, he used to teach cryptography and, cryptography. And then, of course, we get all those, letters that had to be, So, yeah, I think he's the best candidate for sure. Oh, it was Josh. Yeah. Brian survived. Oh, that sucks. All right, guys. I've been live for hour and 76 minutes. Let me just see. I'm not making sure I missed anything. Oh, one more thing here. Let me just see. I just want to see if this is the one I just saw or if it's a different one. This looks like the same one. Again, I've got to catch up on. Please be patient with me. I'm just one person, but um. Oh, whose happy birthday is it? Happy birthday to you, Daphne. That's awesome. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Thank you, Angels. Yeah, I'm gonna work on some more, but
Yeah, Jack the Ripper. Again, it's not like 100% official because obviously they have to send it to the attorneys and all that. But again, this was one of the guys they had their eyes on anyway. Now, so I think it's him because of course after he disappeared, all the killing stopped. I don't think that's a coincidence. So yeah, sadly, some kind of course, they didn't know about schizophrenia, and then of course they just made things worse, because they just didn't know back then. They're still experimenting, which was really terrible. All right, guys, I'm not gonna do an outro. I've got to kind of chill down. But I promise you, there's going to be some stuff for my patrons and members, and then hopefully Wednesday we'll talk a little bit more. And I think, maybe Friday, at the very least Friday, I will release the information that I'm holding on to. And then we'll go from there. All right, guys. I love all of you. I wish I could shout. Oh, let me make sure I didn't miss anything real quick. Again, if I could shout everybody out, I would do it in a heartbeat. But I always try to make my content where it's digestible to people who are rewatching. Lady Rose, God bless you, sweetheart. Leslie, with Big Wheels. Oh, Garbage Can Wheels. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, well, we're going to look more into it for sure. Georgie Girl says, appreciate your dedication and honesty, not to mention all the hard work you do for the missing. Your opinions are trusted by many. Oh, thank you so much, Georgie. God bless you guys so much. All right, guys. Much love. Please share love, not hate. It sucks that this is such a, one of these cases where there's a lot of toxic stuff. But again, something's coming. Oh, escape video. All right. All right. All right. Just because I love you guys. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god, this has got music on it. Oh, that's gonna get copyrighted. Wait, hold on. I got one. It's got music. Alright. Just a little bit. I'm gonna go full screen here. This is kind of the outro. God bless you guys. If you can, still hit that like button before you leave. That's my buddy Miles lighting up. I lit up the fire on that. He was probably 20.
What's up, Mob Crew members? As always, thank you guys skateboarding to play, guys.
God, is this song gonna get copyrighted? God, I hope this doesn't. Yep, my good days. But anyway, guys, just because I love you guys, but we'll have, of course, pet outros and all that. But yeah, oh my gosh, we had like hundreds of those VHS, like the little mini VHS tapes. We had so many just filled up, and I would go through them at the end of the week, and it was a blast. I think it's a great outlet. Skateboarding in the beginning was kind of frowned upon, but now it's very highly recognized as like an actual sport, and it's such a great outlet. Of course, with any extreme sport, I would say it's like super extreme, depending on your level. You just gotta be careful, wear the proper padding when you're starting with your kids. But in my opinion, it's a great outlet. They have so many skate parks, which we didn't have until like we were in our 20s, which is kind of a shame. This is kind of like one of the first skate parks they built that was actually like you could skate. But anyway, it was what I was into. It was a great outlet, and yeah, I just worked at Albertsons, and then on my off days we'd skateboard and stuff. So anyway, oh, turn it off. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Much love. We'll see you guys Wednesday. I'm gonna try to get some short content out as well. Um, yeah. So, all right, guys. See you so much. Love you so much, and we'll see you guys Wednesday at the very least. Yeah, '90s was a great era to grow up. I'm blessed. I feel like because it was just before the cell phone age, and like so we didn't have all that cell phone stuff and all the yeah, it's so different now today. Not to say it's worse, but I don't know. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna take that, turn it off, and I think it's about over. Yeah, we're figuring it out. I think we figured it out. It's just I've gotta go through some tests, make sure that the diet and stuff that I get on is right. So.